Okay, we're live.
3, 2, 1. Hello, Internet. I'm Justin Freed. This is episode 155 of inThirty. That's right. I'm back to numbering the episodes for all of our loyal listeners. We're going to be talking about social media today vis-a-vis Twitter, and we're going to be hitting the big hashtags after Paul takes us through the changes to Twitter and how they're presenting news in your timeline. Is that what it's called, Paul? It's the Twitter timeline? Twitter feed?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Haim Cohen of HaimTime.com is here, of course. He doesn't get to introduce himself today because we have only half an hour to cover this very big topic. And Paul N. Shapiro, not of paulandshapiro.com, but of Search
Wilderness, but paulandshapiro.com will get you there too.
Wait, and I will say that now that you have the Search Wilderness domain, it's appropriate that you've grown the lumberjack beard. I approve of that. I approve of that. So for our listeners and not our watchers, Paul has a nice hefty beard. He looks like he could cut down a tree. All right, Paul, what are the changes that Twitter announced very recently?
So Twitter's going to start showing you tweets from people that you aren't following. These are tweets from people that they think are relevant, or the tweets are relevant based on your interaction and the interaction of people in your network.
So this sounds very Facebooky, right? I mean, we talk all the time about how Facebook tweaks its algorithm. People complain a lot about how if you have a Facebook page, only a very slim percentage of the people that like your Facebook page will ever see your content. Is this, and this is, we're not talking about Twitter doing promoted tweets. That's been a long time thing that's
nothing
been going
to do
on.
with ads.
So this is them developing an algorithm for the first time that doesn't strictly follow the rule of you follow the person and it's the most recent tweets that go into your feed, or it's a promoted tweet. This is a third thing, right?
The third thing.
Okay, so is it based on time? It's based on interest? What are the signals that they say they're using?
Let's see. It's based on relevancy. So there's how popular the tweet is, how people in your network are interacting with that tweet. That's what they're saying, at least.
Well, I mean, this is the same as Google Plus's What's Hot, and I think Facebook has What's Relevant or something like that. And I think, and before we get into why, I want to say that my take is, I still see a lot of people that refuse to use Twitter because they don't understand it. Who are they going to follow? Because all their friends still use Facebook, and I think that showing something of relevance, they say, you know what? I'll follow that person, and they'll go from there. It's just to find more people that are not necessarily
Okay, let's
friends.
first say that Facebook has trending topics. Twitter has had trending topics for quite some time, and a while ago they let you opt into customizing those trending topics based on your location. So this is something different, though. This is talking about the Twitter experience that you get when you're actually looking at your timeline, looking at your feed, whatever. I think they call it the feed. And previously, Twitter was more sensitive even than Facebook to putting the most recent tweets front and center. It sounds like what they're doing is giving themselves some leeway to take note of what you've seen and what you haven't seen and put those things in your view as is appropriate. I mean, that to me seems like the big deal. Like, if someone favorites something at 3 o'clock in the morning, that will only show up in your feed at 3 o'clock in the morning previously. It sounds like now there's at least a chance that it'll come later on. Is that right?
I don't know how recent the tweets might be.
Okay, so
I don't know if they'll persist over a long period of time.
And is this an opt-in thing?
Unclear. I think they're automatically doing it.
All right, so I'm going to go to my Twitter.
Well, I mean, look, whether you like this or not.
They're calling it the home timeline, but it's called the home timeline, not the feed.
What's it called? A retweet is basically that. I see random people I don't know, and then I find out it's a retweet from someone else. So someone else curated that content and said, you know what, this is important enough that everyone else should read, so I'm going to put it in.
Okay, as I'm going through my Twitter now, it is, strictly speaking, it is most recent tweet. So the tweet at the top is 4 minutes ago, the next one is 16 minutes ago, then 21 minutes ago, until I get to the first retweet from @Jack, who is in Ferguson, I think still. And presumably that retweet is in the feed in that location because of when he retweeted it. So that gives more life to that tweet. And then it sounds like if you don't follow Jack or the person he's retweeting, but tons of the people that you're following on Twitter do follow those people, or they favorited it, or they retweeted it, there's a chance that it might get it stuck in kind of as like you can almost consider it a retweet by Twitter in a sense, because
a retweet by Twitter. That's a good line.
Okay, so before we go any further with this, though, Paul, you give your perspective on what the difference between favoriting a tweet is and retweeting it, because I'm torn about what.
Favoriting is a very ambiguous action. There's actually some academic research on the motivation that people have behind favoriting a tweet, which is kind of interesting. We should probably link through it, but some people use it to save content that they want to check out later, so it's sort of a bookmark feature. Other people use it sort of as like a Facebook like, some sort of like micro acknowledgement, like, hey, I like your tweet, but I'm not going as far as retweeting it or replying.
Right, because retweeting it then would put it in your followers' timelines, and favoriting it, though, they have to take the extra step of going to your Twitter profile and then clicking your favorite tweets. By the way, I should say that way back when, and I never automated this, and so when Haim took over the posting of the inThirty shows, it kind of fell by the wayside. The only thing that inThirty used to favorite, except for exceptional tweets by the hosts, and there aren't that many of those, unfortunately, was all of the shows. So if you went to the inThirty, twitter.com/inThirty, and clicked our favorite tweets, it would have been just basically a curated feed of the past shows and links directly to them. So that's how we use them. In any case, someone in Twitter is studying what a favorite means versus a retweet, and now they're going to put something behind that research, I guess, is what it comes down to.
I mean, the first thing they should have said is, when you learn Twitter, what is a favorite, other than whatever you want it to be? I favorite things to read later. I mean, if that's
right. You do, and then
functionality.
And then you do unfavorite it when you're done. Is that the idea?
The problem is it goes to this area that I forget to check, just like my Amazon, my send to Kindle stuff.
Right.
Like but when I do go back and every once in a while I say, oh yeah, I was supposed to read that, or I was supposed to act upon that, and then I do it, and then I unfavorite it.
It seems to me that because there's less friction to using Twitter. I mean, Facebook really, Twitter's getting worse about it, but Facebook has for the last couple of years been really bad about it. If you don't like someone, if you're not logged into Facebook, the content that they're willing to show you is really limited. Twitter is more open that way, and they're also more open, frankly, in how they develop their techniques. The hashtag, in fact, was developed by users. So maybe the favorite and the meaning of the favorite will be kind of determined over time. But what I'm getting at is, and this is kind of a segue of sorts, is that in instances of, an unarmed black teenager being shot in the heartland of America, or a kidnapped photojournalist being beheaded in the Middle East, when people want to get to the most immediate information about those topics, Twitter works better, I think. I mean, in these instances where the people at CNN are really happy because they know their viewership is up, even though it's on the backs of a tragedy, it seems that the social network that fits those situations the best is Twitter. And Paul, do you think it's just that? Did they choose to roll this out now because they're probably seeing their average amount of use increase? Is that why they're doing it now? What's up with that?
I'm not sure what the motivation is, but it's definitely interesting. I think something to note, compared to Facebook, is based on this like EdgeRank algorithm where you're only seeing stuff that's deemed relevant to you. Twitter is showing you everything that you're following, plus that.
Well, hold on a second. Here's the issue. I agree that Twitter actually does show you everything, but every once in a while, I mean, I can average a tweet a minute by the people I'm following, and I have one 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then 26 minutes ago. And for that, there's nothing in that 20-minute period. I have a feeling that Twitter shows as much as it can, but after a certain point, it'll just stop. It'll do a few an hour.
I don't understand. You're saying that your timeline, strictly speaking, then does not reflect every single tweet in chronological order of all of the however many people you're following?
Yeah. So the first 100 or so are pretty good, and then all of a sudden it just it goes. I have 1 hour, and then I have maybe like 3 hours. It stops at some point, and this is not necessarily Twitter's fault. Maybe I'm using the Twitter official app, so maybe there's just too many tweets
That's
or
not
whatever it
consistent
is.
with what I'm seeing. So I have right now 18 seconds, 22 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
No, go all the way down. Go
Then
to
13 minutes, but that's because it's a retweet. And then 1 minute. And then 20 minutes because it's a retweet.
So I'm not saying they're not. Basically, I'm not saying they're not showing it. I'm just saying that I think that if you're trying to find, it's not. It may not on purpose show everything, but algorithmically, whatever it is, server side issues cannot show everything past, I don't know, 5, 6, 12 hours.
Well, let's consider two other things. One, Twitter and Facebook does this too, but Twitter does make an archive of your tweets of your personal tweets available to you if you should want. You have to request it. And remember, they used to have the fire hose that they would let Google index. Now they don't do that. They have reached some area, whether it's because of an internal strategy or because of the server load or some combination of the two, where you can't just get every tweet that you want all the time. There is some limitation on it. The second thing is that recently they allowed people who use Twitter advertisements to see analytics per tweet, kind of like you do in a Facebook page. Now, they've been tempting me to do it with my personal Twitter account. I haven't been on the inThirty one. I think I used $20 of Twitter ad credit to do some promoted tweets for inThirty, but I haven't seen the analytics. But the point is that at least they're becoming more sensitive to people's wanting to see the impact of their tweets, and it seems like while they're doing that work, while they're making those analytics available, that's part and parcel of the idea of looking at the relevancy of a tweet and sticking it randomly into other people's timelines. If they have good reason to believe that the tweet is going to be relevant to you, it's this first way of kind of letting you explore Twitter beyond the retweet. It also gives them a lot more power. I mean, for the first time, they can curate content beyond suspending the accounts of people who are beheading journalists in Iraq, which they did too. All right. So at this point, do we want to go into the specifics of what is trending on Twitter now? I will read the trends.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you a question, Justin. When you read Twitter, do you use it from the website?
I do. I go to twitter.com
Okay.
or on my phone with the official Twitter app.
Okay. Well, on the website, I think only on the website you see the promoted tweets. Do you mark the promoted tweets as spam?
I have not done that. No. I mean, they make it. Okay. Yeah.
Apparently that's a thing. Okay, where people say, you know what? A lot of the tech nerds, we started Twitter from the beginning. We got it going, and they're trying to make money off our backs. So, you know what? This ad by Verizon Wireless or this ad by whatever is not what I want in my feed. Therefore, it's spam.
It seems more like but look what. First of all, let's look at what happened to app.net guys. That didn't go super well. And then the second thing is, it is Twitter. When companies advertise on Twitter, or if they try to own a hashtag, they screw up all the time. I mean, I don't remember the specific examples, but I'm sure if you Google McDonald's Twitter advertisement screw up, McDonald's
was a big one.
Right. So at least the Twitter is open enough that when the advertising doesn't have full control. You can't own a hashtag. You can't scrub people's Twitter timelines of negative responses to your hashtag. You can retweet the good stuff. You can mark the bad stuff as spam if you want to have your advertising agency do that. But essentially, it's still the Wild West. Facebook seems to be much more protective of its advertisers. The answer is no. I don't mark promoted tweets as spam, nor do they really have a big impact on me. I don't think either. Okay, so let's get into the trends, though. We'll get into what is trending right now. Okay, for me anyway. All right, so it is the obvious stuff. It's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm reloading it now. Maybe you guys should look and see if we're on the same page. It is hashtag Ferguson, hashtag Anaconda video on Vivo. I do not know what that is. I don't know if that's I like big butts thing or not. Oh, it's a Nicki Minaj thing. Okay. 10 reasons why 5 SOS deserve to win. I have no idea what that is. Uber is in the trends, and I guess that's because they opened up their API, and Open Table is using them now to like book you a car ride directly to the restaurant after you make a reservation. Massive Lovatic attack. Again, I guess I'm really out of the loop here. I have no idea what that is. iPhone 6 this Saturday. James Harden. James Harden is a basketball player, Hein?
I don't know. Probably football.
Football and Syria. Okay? Mr. Foley, the journalist who is unfortunately beheaded, his name does not make it there. But one of the things that I can do is click change on after the word trends, and the question is, do I want to keep trends that are tailored just for me, and based on my location, or I guess do I make it Twitter overall? So that's what's trending on Twitter. Let's get into it. We don't often get to talk politics on inThirty. We're very protective of the tech nature of things, but I guess the culmination of all of the news, and seeing it through the prism of the Ice Bucket Challenge, which is driven by social media, and looking at the crowds in Ferguson, where almost every person is holding up a smartphone or a fancy camera during the protests. I mean, this is now front and center. This is not a slow news month. This August is in fact a huge news month in 2014. Where do we want to take it? You want to start with the Ice Bucket Challenge?
Well, I do like the Ice Bucket Challenge for many different reasons, and mainly they found a way with no marketing budget to the viralness hit perfectly, and they're raising a lot of money for ALS, which if you check the charity ratings, they're very good. They give over 90% back to the people.
Sure, and ALS, fortunately, I can almost say, only afflicts or kills about 7,000 people a year. It's not like heart disease or anything, but any of the research that's done to cure ALS could potentially benefit spinal cord victims, a whole bunch of other people, and certainly it's a very valid, great thing to for humanity to potentially cure or treat much better.
Now, the issue that I really have is that they sort of changed the rules mid-viralness. And if you go to the ALS site, it doesn't tell you what the rules are. They just say dump a bucket of ice on. And what it's supposed to be is donate $100 or dump a bucket of ice water on your head and donate $10.
Mm-hmm.
But people say it, and then you hear, oh, so you're wasting the water conservationists, you're wasting water. And people are just not seeing for what it is. It's this fun thing to call your friends out and to give $10, which could be a lot for some people, but it's $10.
So, okay, I mean, this will certainly make its way into MBA coursework starting in September. It's going to be, any of the study of advertising this is a big win strategy-wise. I mean, the thing that's most interesting to me about it is how it expanded into the elites. That we have the former president of the United States doing it, and Martha Stewart. I think Justin Bieber did it twice. That's interesting to me. Paul, do you have an explanation for how it got from the everyman level to include the 1 in a million man level? Elon Musk did it. Bill Gates, every executive at Google did it, right? I mean, how did it get there?
Look, I don't. It's hard to say. I think it's because it was so silly that dump this bucket of water on your ice. It caused no harm. It didn't. I mean, it caused everyone to watch you, and then you got to call out 3 of your friends, and it's taped, so everyone saw it live. And I think it hit that viralness thing, short to the point, and it was sort of fun to do.
Okay, so the explanations then are really simple, and the how of it then is kind of simple too, I guess. And it seems like it's just like anything else. There are going to be critics of the method. They're going to say you could have just given the $100 without wasting the ice, whatever. I mean, there's some criticism that can be made. Is it that everyone is against ALS? I mean, is that part of it? It's just like it's still not answering the question to me. What else is so equal across the board that if you go on Instagram and you see these videos or Vine or on Facebook, you can bet that any celebrity you've heard of is going to do it. Derek Jeter did it, and I guess for me, what it proves is that the person that you think is behind the social media when you follow Martha Stewart or follow, Derek Jeter or whomever, like it does make it to the human being. Like if you send them a tweet, it could go to their pocket. Maybe they're using the new Facebook app just for the special people, but it shows the democracy, I guess, of social media. If I'm not reading too much into it.
I mean, I think it's fun. It's good natured. It doesn't require any work, and you have that social aspect of you get to call 3 of your friends out. But
okay, so Paul, you haven't gotten in here yet. Are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now I can.
All right, I've been talking, but anyway, so I mean, there's a few factors here. I think one is it's viral by nature. It's, I do it and then I call out 3 of my friends, so that's 3 people that it instantly spreads to. And then there's a factor where you sort of have to do it because you're going to look like a schmuck if you decline to do it. So it's sort of catering to that aspect of human nature. It's like if you don't do it, it's an easy thing, and I don't care about some issue that's affecting other human beings.
So you're creating a terrible dilemma for people. It's schmuck or you get wet, or know. Fair enough.
I mean, if Derek Jeter gets called out to do the ice bucket challenge, even if he's not behind his Twitter account or Facebook account, people are going to be like, "What the hell, Derek Jeter? Why are you not a human being?"
I got you. So if I don't even know another current Yankee. Okay, Mariano Rivera did he retire last season, Heim?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and I was gonna say Paul O'Neill, who I think is now an announcer, right?
Yes.
All right.
For the Yankees.
Okay.
So you're close.
Okay, but I'm getting there. Okay, you're right. So because of the at functionality of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, their name is highlighted. If someone famous calls other people out, right, you expect to click the link and see a video within 24 hours from Derek Jeter. So they've got, they've got to kind of.
And then at the point in which it gets to Derek Jeter is going to call out 3 of his friends. And who are Derek Jeter's friends? They're the Martha Stewart. They're the Bill Gates.
Yes, yeah, and it gives Lady Gaga. There's enough leeway in the instructions that Lady Gaga can still do it super weird like. And Amy Schumer, who's a comedian, can pour soup on herself instead, and a can of soup, not hot soup. And we got that. Okay, so it really worked. So in the midst of, I think the Ice Bucket Challenge was started, and I would at some point like to see a nice graph that The Atlantic or NPR does or something of exactly how it proliferated through social media, comparing it to Ebola or something even, because I think that might teach us something. When was Michael Brown, unfortunately?
8 days ago.
8 days ago. So unfortunately, this happens time and time again, seemingly in America. An unarmed guy is killed by the police. A couple of days ago, it was announced that I think it was Iceland. No, it was another cold country certainly, but the police killed the first person since 1944, and then you compare that to the percentage of people that are incarcerated in the United States versus in other developed nations, and you look at the force that police departments can use because of the proliferation and repurposing of weapons of war that trickle down to people who are simply not adequately trained to use them.
We're getting into politics here.
Okay, I mean it's gonna be a hard argument to make that that someone who hasn't gone through boot camp. I mean, I'm not saying that every police officer is not many of them I'm sure are veterans of one of the armed services, but the vast majority are not. There's a reason for boot camp. There is a reason for all of the training that the military does. Is the United States military perfect? No, but it's a far cry, frankly, from what the average beat cop gets in training, and it's fact that the training that they get for that weaponry is not symmetrical to the training that the police forces get as a hand-me-down of these weapons.
Well, it doesn't matter. It goes down to the intent of the police force versus the military. The police force should not be acting as a military body.
Look, so we can get political. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that we've had someone on the show.
The question is with Twitter. So, and the videos that are being posted, and the clearless spread of, and this got me a little annoyed because I follow people who care about this stuff. So that's all they're tweeting. They're tweeting this. The police did this. The police did that. The police did X, Y, and Z. Where's the police side of this? There has to be a second side of it. There has to be.
The police
how many people are there versus how many police?
Well, no, but that's the problem. I'm only following the people on the other side of the police barricade. Versus,
you're not
where is Ferguson?
Other people,
well, I want to follow Ferguson PD.
There's 50 police officers or something like that, and how many residents of Ferguson and how many protesters are there?
Just for the record, a couple of nights ago, CNN was covering some street in Ferguson, and the police force, including the National Guard and probably other local police officers, they clearly outnumbered the number of people on the street. But you can add to the people that are in Ferguson. But you can add to the people that are actually in Ferguson with the social media echo chamber, for better or for worse, that exists around any issue. So, Han, what you're saying, the answer is, though, that maybe Twitter's new algorithm would take the official social media account of the Ferguson PD and put that into your timeline, right? I mean,
yeah, hopefully.
You know, it's a guy that was unarmed got killed. I mean, and a young one at that. That police department probably didn't have a press officer before. I don't know that they had contingency for just getting information out to the public, whether it be emergency or otherwise. So that part of it is new to them. The idea of not shooting someone without good cause should not be new. That should be old hat. Without my getting to.
Look, I mean, I see all these people saying the police are acting with deadly or too much force or all this other stuff, and not to say that they're not. There's clear evidence. They're retweeting videos. They're doing this, but I would like to see if you're going to use Twitter as a protest source, it has to spread beyond the echo chamber of the people who follow it.
Well, I don't.
And I don't know how to do that. That's my problem.
I don't know that ever happens. Is it that the messages are almost always one-sided. You as the person who synthesizes the message have to be aware of this. That's why when you watch Fox News, they claim that they're fair and balanced. You don't have to believe that claim. You don't have to believe anything that they say. The idea is that you as a human being synthesize it and don't kind of just take it as a rote and like copy it into your memory, sort of. So that's the process that's important, and Twitter lets you do that as easily as talking to someone on a street corner potentially, maybe less easily because you don't get the human element of it, but watching a news broadcast, even when Walter Cronkite was doing it. I think the new thing about Twitter is that you can kind of count the numbers. You can just see,
fair enough.
You can without doing an official poll. This isn't Pew Research, but it's like algorithmically you can detect the tenor of a conversation, and you can detect certainly the number of retweets of a tweet, the number of uses of a hashtag, and then, in a more complex level, determine what people are saying. That's the new thing. So maybe what Twitter does is it gives a way to prove positive that a huge percentage of the people, I'm talking literally just by looking at the number of people on Twitter, not the number that they represent of people not on Twitter, but literally you can say 150,000 people maybe agree with this concept that we should demilitarize police forces. I don't know. It's like a change. It's like one step away from a change.org petition. Potentially.
There you go. Look, we're almost out of time. We have 2 minutes left. Is there anything else?
I mean, there's tons more, but we will stick to our guns. That is a bad pun, I guess. And we will only do a 30-minute show. That is true, right? So what can we say here? I mean, at the end of this, Twitter's going to change its algorithm. Be as wary as ever that you're getting the news that someone else wants you to get. Only you can always dig deeper. You can always go to Wikipedia and edit away. Someone else can re-edit it, but that's your option. and be a living, breathing human who maybe pours ice on his head to cure a debilitating illness, right? That's how I synthesize it. All right. This has been episode 155 of inThirty. Maybe you were listening to this while you were on your Twitter feed, and things are calming down, hopefully. All right.
Okay, bye everybody.
All right. I'm going to